For some reason, people are obsessed with their butts. I know my fair share of doctors, and whoo boy, do they have some stories to tell. Basically, anything that exists under the sun has probably also gone in someone's ass. But the worst is when something goes in, but just doesn't want to come out. This is what happened to some people who got a little too comfortable with putting things up there where the sun don't shine. While this list does start off crazy, believe me, you're going to want to stick around until the end because things truly go to infinity and beyond. Here are the weirdest things doctors have found up people's butts. Starting off simple, it's a key. Believe it or not, a doctor did end up coming across a patient who had a key lodged up their ass. How? Why? Who knows? But then again, anyone willing to try this out probably threw logic out the window a really long time ago. But hey, to give the guy some credit, statistically speaking, your butt would be the safest place to hide your keys, right? It'll be like your personal little vault you can access whenever you want, albeit with some force required. But I mean, if you want to make this your hide a key spot, don't do it with a key you use all the time. You know, like for your car or the keys to your front door, because it's going to be really awkward talking to your neighbors after they see you taking a dump on the road every morning as you leave for work. But hey, we're just getting started here, and remember, I've saved the best for last, especially if you're a Pixar fan. Next up, it's a beer bottle. You know how they say it's always happy hour somewhere? Well, it looks like this dude took that really seriously and decided to get a bit too happy all at once. The end result? Not a lot of pleasure, I would think. I'm not sure what level of party hard spirit it takes to end up with a beer bottle lodged in your rear, but throw in enough booze and, well, I guess nothing's off limits, right? This guy probably prides himself on being a functioning alcoholic because, hey, having one beer bottle up your butt is just amateur hour, not a record. At least he hasn't graduated to a whole six-pack, right? I've got to say, as tough as it must have been for this thing to go up someone's butt, how much harder do you think it'd be to take it out? I mean, this is a glass beer bottle we're talking about. One wrong move by the doctor, and it might just end up shattering while it's still in there. You'd be pooping out glass shards for months. Every time you went to take a it'd be like you're in a Saw movie. Sheesh. And with that, let's end this train of thought right here and move to our next item, which just happens to be a knife. Wow, we're hopping back on the booty-busting express, aren't we? Now, I don't know who needs to hear this, but a knife is the last thing you'd want near any of your body's special nooks and crannies. I think this person took being cutting edge a little too literally. Am I right? Why some people would choose to stash a knife in their derriere is a question for the ages. Was it a misguided attempt at home security? Intruder alert? No problem. I'm armed in the most literal, uncomfortable way possible. Or perhaps they were participating in the world's most dangerous game of hide and seek. Ready or not, Yikes! Let's be real. There's no manual for this stuff, but I'm pretty sure if there were, it would strongly advise against using your butt as a sheath. Safety tip, folks. Kitchen knives are for chopping veggies, not doubling as body armor. It's a confusing, painful mess no matter what way you cut it. Pun intended. Oh, and trust me, things don't get any better from here. Because a man tried putting a live rat up there. And by tried, I do mean succeeded. You're probably also seeing a pattern here that things are a lot easier going in than they are coming out. And the genius that tried this out probably forgot to account for this little fact. Now, I'm sure you're wondering just why anyone would put a living rat up their butt. Surely, if you want to get freaky, there are tons of ways to do that without also mentally scarring another living creature, right? Well, the person who tried this placed the rat in a wrapper to suffocate it, and then as the rat struggled to breathe, the man put the rat up his butt, straight towards his prostate to try and feel the pressure. I wish I never had to utter those words, but here we are. When the doctors flipped him over, they saw the rat's tiny little tail poking out of the butthole. I can imagine what the doctor assigned to this assignment was thinking. Finally, after years of hard work and dedication, I've finally become a doctor today. I can't wait to do good and help people with my work and... Yeah, Jim, we're gonna need you over here. Some guy's got a rat stuck up his ass. Now, when you've got a living thing stuck inside you, you can bet it's going to try and come out. And that's what the little rat did. It started biting the man from the inside to get the F out of there, eating a part of the man's colon in the process. This led to internal bleeding, turning the man's face blue. And before you click away from being utterly grossed out, there's a bit of a happy ending. The guy managed to make it out of all of this alive. But sadly, I can't say the same for the poor Mr. Ratso. What a way to go, huh? Not only was it forced into an unknown, stinky realm without its permission, but then it ended up dying on the return mission. Let's take a moment to honor Mr. Assrat, the unsung hero of bizarre butt-based escapades. Sadly, his daring journey may have been for naught. But let's face it, anyone wild enough to turn their hindquarters into a rat motel isn't likely to be deterred by one rough checkout. I bet as soon as the coast and his colon was clear, our guy was already eyeing rat number 2 in the jar, planning the sequel, Ratatouille, The Booty Cut, coming soon to an ER near you. Next, we ask the old age question, which came first, the chicken or the egg? Well, I can tell you which went up someone's butt first. Surprise, surprise, it's the egg. According to a doctor, a well-dressed older gentleman arrived at his clinic wearing a raincoat. Now, what could this poor old man be dealing with, one might wonder? Well, turns out he was in quite a pickle. Apparently, the old man claimed that while standing at a bus stop, a group of teenagers attacked him. But that's not all, because they also shoved a hard-boiled egg up the man's butt. What? What kind of gang ritual is this? Yikes. Back in my day, kids sat indoors and played Fortnite. Now you've got children running around and committing straight-up war crimes? Extracting that egg intact was like preparing the key opponent for a questionable batch of deviled eggs. Handled with care, or it crumbles. But let's be real, who's hankering for that mixture anyway? We all know that any egg salad concoction tastes like ass from the get-go. Next up, concrete mix. I wish I was kidding, but nope. Just when you thought you've hit the bottom of bizarre, along comes a couple who thought it'd be a blast to play with concrete mix in his butt. Forget chocolate syrup or whipped cream. These two went for the hardcore DIY approach to spice things up. Why stop at kinky, they thought, when we can go full construction site? They whipped up a batch of concrete, yes, the stuff sidewalks are made of, and funneled it into places it should never go. But here's the kicker. Concrete hardens. Like really hardens. Suddenly, what started as an adventurous night turned into a concrete emergency. Freaky Time was officially bricked up. After hours of unimaginable agony and a DIY project gone horribly wrong, his backside was finally debris-free. The extraction process? Not exactly your typical date night activity. Let's just say it involved more medical professionals than a small conference, and involved tools you'd more likely find at a construction site than in an operating room. Turns out setting your love in stone isn't quite the metaphor we hoped for. Now, not everyone with a weird thing up their butt is trying to get freaky with it. Some people just have bad luck for sitting on the wrong thing at the wrong time. That's kind of what happened to a man who apparently sat on the leg of a bed and it went straight up his you-know-where. He claimed that his partner and he were in the process of moving into a new home. Getting a bit tired of the relocation process, the man decided to sit on the bed frame, which was upside down. And that's when it hit him. There was a wooden something inside of him. Now, it's hard enough to build those IKEA beds without having to dive into someone's butt to find the missing part. While they did eventually get the leg of the bed out, the surgeon did mention that he had his fair share of suspicions. First of all, wouldn't you need to be naked or something like that to go all the way up there? Seems sus, huh? Finally, there's one other item that's easily the weirdest one yet, and that's a Buzz Lightyear action figure. Hey, I loved those movies as a kid too, but clearly not nearly as much as this guy. Seriously, it's like this dude took You've Got a Friend in Me to a whole new level. Because damn. Now, if you've seen Toy Story, you'll know these action figures become alive when there's no one watching them. And maybe that's what this fine gentleman was hoping for. Somehow, Buzz would gain consciousness while firmly stuck up his butt. And, well, things would only get freakier from there. Interestingly, the guy decided to insert the action figure into his ass feet first, which is a weird choice to say the least. But hey, it's not like any part of this makes much sense. I can only imagine the sheer horror on Buzz's face when the doctors finally pulled him out of there. To infinity and beyond? Yeah, I doubt he's ever going to be saying that again. If Disney does end up making an adult version of the Toy Story movies, you just know they're going to have a whole arc with Buzz learning to deal with the trauma he's had to endure. But anyway, from a tiny key to a big ol' action figure, these were just some of the weirdest things doctors have found up people's butts. Like and subscribe to watch more weird-ass content, pun intended, and let me know what you think. And hey, remember to keep your backsides clear from any trouble. All right? Bye.